Hi there, everyone. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9.
Joplin City Council meeting to discuss COVID costs. I'm Chris Warner. We'll break down the numbers.
Some states are trying to increase their vaccine supply while California battles a new strain of coronavirus. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
Nick Kelly is weather tonight. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Aubie. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation released new details on a death investigation out of Arcadia, Kansas. On January 13th, Crawford County deputies received a tip about a body at the Arcadia house of 37-year-old Nicholas Carrillo. When deputies found a body on the property, Carrillo ran, authorities say. He was found 2 days later on January 15th and arrested on drug charges. Authorities say the body belongs to Derek Ewell of Kansas City, Missouri, who was reported missing and that the death happened at a hotel in Kansas City. Carrillo is now being charged with criminal desecration of a body. A Veneta, Oklahoma man is being charged with domestic assault after police say he intentionally drove his car off the road with his family inside. 35-year-old Kevin Hibben is charged with 4 counts of first-degree domestic assault. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, on January 6th, Hibben, his wife, and 3 kids were in a car on Jute Road, 5 miles north of Seneca. Authorities say Hibben then deliberately drove the vehicle off the road and into a tree, injuring everyone inside, some of them seriously. 3 people are dead after a wreck in Wilson County, Kansas yesterday. 40-year-old Curtis Wilkins of Cambridge, Kansas, hit a pickup driven by 39-year-old Tiffany Beckemeyer and her passenger, 18-year-old Randy Carlisle, both of Aurora, Missouri. The vehicles collided head-on and both caught fire. All 3 were pronounced dead at the scene. Joplin City Council met tonight, and on the agenda, a discussion of COVID costs in the city. KOM's Chris Warner was at the meeting, and Chris says more.
The cost of COVID. We've seen it in terms of businesses closing and unemployment claims rising. But there's also costs for cities like Joplin to provide COVID-related services to its citizens. Those costs are being covered through CARES funding.
The funding has been used for mostly for funding the contact tracing and case investigations within the Joplin Health Department.
The city of Joplin itself has had to use CARES funding as well for its employees.
The federal law granted 80 hours of COVID time, and city employees have had to use that, and that's an eligible expense. And so that's been a portion of it too, as well as regular city employees that have redirected our normal work time towards COVID. So that's been the majority of our costs.
Finance Director Leslie Haas breaks down where things stand so far.
We've submitted almost $1,080,000, and we expect to receive all of it back except about $8,000. So it's just a timing standpoint of receiving the reimbursements.
As for that timing, Haas says through December 28th, the city has received just under $500,000 in reimbursements, with more to come. But there's still more money that's needed.
Newton County has used all of their CARES dollars. Jasper County still has some remaining CARES dollars. And so we're still doing contact tracing, case investigation. We may have costs related to vaccinations. We still have quarantine situations that we're responsible for, and so we'll still be able to submit those costs to Jasper County.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Hess says although the president extended the CARES deadlines through December 31st of this year, Missouri Governor Mike Parson at this time has only extended the deadline through June. People in Missouri can take advantage of free COVID-19 testing in several counties, including Jasper. The only requirement is that you are a Missouri resident, but you don't have to be a resident of Jasper County. We've provided a link to the online registration on our website. See it right there at KOAMnewsnow.com. Country's coronavirus death toll topping 400,000 today. The grim milestone comes as states take new action to ramp up the vaccine rollout. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri has more.
A dozen counties in California are reporting infections involving a new COVID-19 strain, different from one first found overseas. Research from Cedars-Sinai shows the variant has been found in more than 1/3 of new cases in Los Angeles and could be contributing to a surge of infections in Southern California. Researchers say they're looking at whether this mutation can impact a vaccine's performance.
There have yet to be any mutations that have been shown to affect the vaccine efficacy. Everyone that has the ability to go get a vaccine should go get a vaccine.
The new strain comes as states scramble to expand their vaccine supply. Pfizer rejected New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's request to buy doses directly from the company, saying he first needed to seek federal permission. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio says while his city is vaccinating people faster, it is set to run out of doses after Thursday.
It is up to the federal government, it's up to the state, it's up to the manufacturers to do everything they can to get us the maximum supply.
Meanwhile, the pandemic continues to strain health systems as a winter surge takes effect. Coronavirus deaths are rising in at least 30 states. Public health officials warning folks that mask wearing and social distancing remain essential.
People who think that because they've received a vaccine that they can walk around and be entirely safe are probably misleading themselves.
Arizona currently has the highest infection rate in the U.S., followed by California and Rhode Island. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Doug, Nick Kelly joining us now with our first look at the forecast. You are Nick Kelly.
Well, last I checked, yes.
Last time you look in the mirrors, still cold, but really no complaints from me anyway.
No, in fact, the numbers are pretty much where we should be for late January. Jordan, we had Joplin starting at 24 this morning, topping out around 46. Again, pretty much on the mark in terms of where we should be. We had cloud cover to start the evening up, but now we're seeing mostly clear skies, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of patchy fog later on tonight. Not a huge deal with the way things stand right now, but we continue to watch our next storm system out in the southwest. Quick temperature check. Has most of us in the lower, if not a few mid-30s, trying to hold on, but I don't think we're done dropping off just yet. I think we'll drop off to about 28, but a strong south wind kicking into gear tomorrow should bring us back into the lower 50s. We're down the next several days, coming up in a bit, Jordan.
All right, Nick, thank you so much as always. President-elect Joe Biden is just hours away now from taking office. He flew into Washington today from his home in Delaware. He plans to hit the ground running with a number of first-day initiatives. After an inauguration speech, he and his supporters hope will set a positive tone for his new administration. Fox News White House correspondent Peter Ducey has the latest.
The next president's first stop in D.C., a memorial honoring COVID-19 victims.
Between sundown and dusk, let us shine the lights in the darkness along the sacred pool of reflection, remember all whom we lost.
His last stop in Delaware, a National Guard headquarters named for his late son, Beau Biden.
Look, you know, it's kind of emotional for me.
Tomorrow, Biden will sign executive orders related to climate change and immigration, and in the first 100 days plans to push Congress to shorten the pathway to citizenship for 11 million illegal immigrants to 8 years from 13. But first, an inaugural address. Fox has learned the theme is unity.
I know these are dark times, but there's always light.
The Biden team also plans to roll back last-minute Trump initiatives. When they caught wind, Trump wanted to lift travel restrictions on some flyers from the UK and the EU and Brazil on January 26th. Incoming Press Secretary Jen Psaki wrote, "On the advice of our medical team, the administration does not intend to lift these restrictions on 1/26. In fact, we plan to strengthen public health measures around international travel in order to further mitigate the spread of COVID-19. We're also learning a little bit more about the future First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, from daughter Ashley.
Dad loves his raisin bread in the morning. And she's like, Joe, wash that bowl. Don't put it in the sink.
A hallmark of Biden remarks, quotes from Irish poets. And today he put his own twist on a line from James Joyce that, "When I die, Dublin will be written on my heart."
Excuse the emotion, but when I die, Delaware will be written on my heart.
This event reflected Biden's belief that we are in the middle of a dark winter because of COVID-19, and we just watched as a long motorcade of blue and red sirens passed by these amber lanterns, taking Biden on the 4-minute trip to Blair House for the night. In Washington, Peter Ducey, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor one of our four-state heroes, Alfred Hubbard. Served in the U.S. Army from 1968 to 70. Native of Pittsburgh, Hubbard was in Vietnam, earning the Vietnam Campaign Medal. And we are proud to thank Sergeant Alfred Hubbard. He is tonight's four-state hero. Nick Kelly's up next with a complete look at the forecast. And later in sports, we're going to hear from the red-hot Pitt State women as they prepare to face undefeated UNK.
Let's just dive right in, shall we? We started out mostly cloudy throughout the course of the day. Then we gradually saw at least some partly sunny skies over Indigo Sky just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But whether we had the clouds or not, that didn't stop temperatures from, let's say, trending about 10 degrees cooler compared to yesterday. We topped out in the mid-50s yesterday, down into the mid-20s this morning, and topping out mainly in the mid-40s across the region. We'll trend a little bit better tomorrow. We just got to get past another cold night ahead of us. Definitely cold out there for sure. 33 in Joplin. Feels like 28 with that west breeze at 6 miles per hour. And around the rest of the Joplin metro, I'm seeing 31 in Pittsburgh, 33 in Seneca, Oronogo, Webb City, Granby, and Neosho just a hair warmer at 34. This is consistent across much of the region, between 30 and 34 degrees. Cold no matter where you are, staying cold through the night. But earlier today, we actually had a northwest breeze at about 5 to 10, even some spots trying to push near 15 miles per hour. But now we're getting a westerly breeze in place, and then eventually a south breeze during the overnight. That limits temperatures to dropping back into the upper 20s, and that stronger south wind for tomorrow will kick us back into the 50s. As far as the cloud cover goes in the Skywatch Storm Tracker, it was here to start the morning out. Now it's completely gone for the time being, and actually we have high pressure now working into western parts of Oklahoma. Earlier this evening it was centered over the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. And elsewhere, we're waiting for our next cold front coming out of western Canada, still yet to work through Edmonton and Vancouver. That's going to bring temperatures back into the 40s by the time the weekend gets started. Before that front gets here, though, we'll watch for a little energy coming from this upper level low out in the desert southwest. That'll stay mainly to our south come tomorrow night and Thursday morning. But I wouldn't be surprised if it tried to bring a few showers our way. Let's time that out with our future track here. So we're just staying quiet during the overnight, but with mostly clear skies to start and temperatures near the dew point, I would not be surprised if we had a little bit of patchy fog in a few spots. Still not looking like a big deal. Something I'll still watch, though, as the overnight hours roll along. But we start cold in the upper 20s, and despite increasing clouds for tomorrow, we will trend a little bit warmer. Nice change of pace, 28 to start, 46 by noon. That southwest wind at 10 to 20, I think it will do the trick to send us back near 52. Now, that little bit of upper-level energy coming out from the southwest passes just to our south. That's where the main rain chances want to stay. But you can see on the future track here by 8 p.m., I wouldn't be surprised if we had a stray shower or two clip our southern counties late Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. But Thursday overall, it is looking like another nice day. Partly sunny skies by Thursday afternoon, highs topping out in the mid-50s. Let's say 52 tomorrow, then 54 on Thursday. That front, dry front on Friday, but it cools us back into the mid-40s, 47 on Saturday. Then I'm seeing more storm systems lining up with rain chances on Sunday and maybe a bit of a wintry mix with colder temperatures on the way for Monday and Tuesday. We'll take a look at that storm system to come in the next half hour. Jordan?
We've been fortunate this winter, really nothing too extreme. Snow shower and wind and cold, but nothing too extreme.
No, thankfully no ice storms. That's the one thing I don't want for any winter.
Nick Kelly, we'll see you in a little bit. Thank you so much. Coming up, helping you establish the Biden administration.
The Senate focuses on policy as it begins confirmation hearings for 5 of Joe Biden's most important cabinet nominees. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington. I've got the details coming up.
Today offered the first real look at the Biden administration's policy initiatives, with 5 high-profile Biden nominees making their cases for confirmation. Fox News chief congressional correspondent Mike Emanuel has more from Washington.
The Biden administration officially takes over on Wednesday at noon, but on Tuesday, senators on Capitol Hill started holding confirmation hearings for key cabinet positions. National security taking center stage at many of the hearings, including for retired General Lloyd Austin, Biden's pick to run the Defense Department. Of all the nominees, Austin might have the toughest time winning over skeptical lawmakers, and he directly addressed their concerns about a former general leading the military.
The safety and security of our democracy demands competent civilian control of our armed forces.
Meanwhile, Alejandro Mayorkas, nominated to run the Homeland Security Department, getting grilled by Republicans who want to know more about the Biden administration's immigration policies. Mayorkas says there won't be open borders, but when it comes to illegal immigration, he plans to focus on prevention, not enforcement.
Why individuals seek to leave their country of origin, their homes, because of extraordinary violence. We must address the root causes.
We're also getting our first glimpse of the incoming president's economic priorities. Treasury nominee Janet Yellen's hearing overwhelmingly focused on bringing the economy back when the pandemic ends. But Yellen also says the administration will be pushing Congress to pass another stimulus package sooner rather than later.
Without further action, we risk a longer, more painful recession now and longer-term scarring of the economy later.
It is still not clear when confirmation votes will take place, but the pace could accelerate in the coming days after Democrats take control of the Senate. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Just ahead, some countries' unique way of welcoming a new U.S. president.
From Iran to China to North Korea, America's adversaries are testing the incoming administration ahead of the inauguration. I'm Benjamin Hall in London with all the details coming up.
As U.S. troops prepare to protect the Capitol ahead of Joe Biden's inauguration, military drills are taking place from Asia to the Middle East. But it's unclear how the incoming Biden administration is going to respond. Fox News correspondent Benjamin Hall has more from London.
The U.S. Capitol still ringed with troops ahead of tomorrow's inauguration. While overseas, we're seeing a number of military moves that could be early foreign policy tests for President-elect Biden. In Taiwan, a massive military drill aimed at repelling an attack from China is now underway, which Beijing views as an aggressive action.
To be prepared for war is one of the most effective means of preserving the peace. We must conduct the necessary combat preparations and training regularly.
The drills come just one day after Beijing announced sanctions aimed at punishing the U.S. for stepping up its military assistance to Taiwan. Some experts say the Chinese military could retaliate with drills of its own as a way of testing the Biden administration and sending a message to the rest of the world.
Their overall narrative is that the United States is in terminal decline, about to fail, and that China is the world's dominant nation.
Another series of drills also taking place in the Middle East. The Iranian military deploying near the Gulf of Oman, just days after firing cruise missiles during a simulated invasion. And in North Korea, there are indications the regime is preparing to test fire a submarine-based ballistic missile. America's regional allies now calling on both sides to resume negotiations as soon as possible.
The start of the Biden administration provides a new opportunity to start over talks between North Korea and the United States.
And we're expecting to learn more about the incoming administration's plans on Tuesday during confirmation hearings for General Lloyd Austin, Biden's pick to lead the Pentagon. In London, Benjamin Hall, Fox News.
A rare sight in the Sahara Desert. I had to look twice. No, it's not an ocean. It kind of looks like sand. Well, it is sand, but no water. It's snow there. Going to learn more when we come back. Hey, look at this, a rare snowfall in the Sahara Desert. A layer of ice and snow blanketed the desert sands in northwest Algeria last week. Temperatures in the region dropped to about 26 degrees Fahrenheit. The winter weather is a rarity, as you might imagine, in this part of the Sahara, with snow falling only 3 other times in the last 42 years. Back in 2017, a blizzard left about 3 feet of snow in this part of the country. And it looks so cool. You know, back when it was that medium shot of the desert, kind of looks like a desktop picture that you see. Look at that one right there. Kind of looks like a desktop picture for a computer screen. Too good to be true. Too good for reality, but it is. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Residents in Ottawa County, Oklahoma are having trouble getting appointments for their second doses of coronavirus vaccine. I'm Zach Dodge with what the state has to say. Coming up.
Plus, more history uncovered in the historic Murfreesburg neighborhood in Joplin. I'm going to tell you about some artifacts.
New, more contagious COVID-19 variant continues to spread in the U.S. I'm Kevin Cork in Washington with why officials are sounding the alarm. That's coming up.
Oklahoma residents are having trouble getting appointments for those coronavirus vaccines as the state continues to see low supply. KOAM Zach Dodge has what the state is doing to create more appointments and why things might not change for a little while as supply remains limited.
After months of waiting, many residents across Oklahoma are eager to get their COVID-19 vaccine. And right now, many healthcare providers, first responders, and residents 65 and older are eligible to get one. The main way for them to do that is on the state's new online vaccine portal. But several Ottawa County residents that are trying to get their second doses say they can't get an appointment, some of them being at the beginning of February. Deputy Commissioner Reed with the State Department of Health says they're working only a week ahead and continue to add more appointments all the time.
We are working on getting second dose appointments put into the system further out that will make it easier for somebody to go in and get their second dose appointment further out into the future, which should eliminate a lot of those issues.
Reed explains everything right now depends on their supply allocation. At this point, he had hoped they would be able to open up more appointments at hospitals and pharmacies, but that won't happen until they have a much higher rate of vaccines coming into the state.
As of last week, we were under the impression that 50% of our doses were physically being stockpiled in preparation for the need for second doses, and that was what was being released to us. That was not the case. So again, we're frustrated waiting on that information to really know what's ahead of us.
So for now, the state's allocation has remained around the same. The Department of Health plans to use many of the doses they receive to make sure residents get booster shots as soon as possible.
So I don't want people to be concerned that they're not going to get their second dose right now. We are prioritizing these second doses based off of vaccine that's coming into the state.
Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Officials with the State Department of Health over Ottawa County say more appointments are made between Wednesday and Thursday. So the best way to know when appointments are available is to follow the Ottawa County Health Department's Facebook page. A lot of history is already at the Schifferdecker House in Joplin. Many of us have passed that house. Some of you have been inside. But a construction crew renovating it just uncovered more. That stuff right there. Crews found around 400 pieces of dishes, bottles, hand tools, and other household items, even bones. Now, don't worry, they're not human. That's one of the questions I asked. Brad Belk, the preservation director and curator of the restoration project, says the items are from around the 1890s. Pretty cool. Joplin Historic Preservation Commission met today and discussed the status of projects around the city. One of those projects is the future of Memorial Hall. The commission did not determine anything at this time, but scheduled a final public meeting for May 6th. Also discussed was a project to put up signs at the city's cemeteries, giving some history about each cemetery. Well, Black History Month starts February, and U.S. Cellular is getting kids ready with an art contest. Starting today, Boys and Girls Club of Southwest Missouri members can create artwork recognizing influential Black people from around the globe. Fears over the new strain of coronavirus are sweeping the nation. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork is in D.C. with more on how travel bans and mass vaccination sites may be able to help stop the surge.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention sounding the alarm. The new COVID-19 variant, which originated overseas and is said to be more contagious, is expected to become the predominant form of the virus in the U.S. as early as March.
People started to call the holiday surge a second wave. It was a second surge. It wasn't a second wave.
Health officials say the new variant is roughly 50% more contagious than the novel coronavirus, urging folks to use precaution as it can spread easier, potentially overwhelming hospitals. This comes as the number of coronavirus cases in the U.S. is skyrocketing in at least 30 states, with California becoming the first to surpass 3 million positive cases. Local leaders there transforming the L.A. Forum and Dodger Stadium into mass vaccination sites to try to curb the spread. Meanwhile, critics say the vaccine rollout is simply too slow. President-elect Joe Biden promising 100 million vaccinations during his first 100 days in office. But abroad, World Health Organization officials say vaccine distribution is favoring the rich and neglecting the poor.
Healthier adults in rich countries are vaccinated before health workers and older people in poorer countries.
The Biden administration says it will also reject President Trump's proposal to lift travel bans from the United Kingdom and Brazil next week, citing concerns the new COVID-19 variant will spread faster in the U.S. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
A bit later, a new type of history for 2021.
With a day until the inauguration, the new women to enter the White House are set to make history. I'm Jackie Ibanez. More on what makes Kamala Harris and Jill Biden trailblazers coming up.
Mostly cloudy skies to start our Tuesday out. Then we gradually saw partly sunny skies return before we hit sunset this evening. So overall, not a bad time last from indigo sky just outside of Seneca, Missouri. For where we stand right now, though, we actually went from partly cloudy skies to start the evening out to more mostly clear skies. 33 in Joplin. That west breeze is 6 miles per hour, is making it feel a little bit colder. Feels like 28 outside. 31 in Pittsburgh, 32 in Seneca, Diamond, Neosho, while we have Sarcoxy at 32, 33 in Carthage. This is pretty consistent across much of the region, between 30 and 34 degrees. That's the main range of temperatures that we're finding. And thankfully, we're not going to drop off much more from here on out, because what started as a northwest breeze throughout the day has become more westerly at this point in the evening. But overnight, it's going to become a more southerly breeze. And once that south breeze really cranks into gear tomorrow, we'll be thankful to go back into the 50s for afternoon highs tomorrow. In the meantime, not much to say on the Skywatch Storm Tracker here, at least. We're sitting nice and quiet as high pressure that gave us a northwest wind today continues its trek across Oklahoma and Texas. As that continues on, that's going to bring the south wind back into play for tomorrow, while we keep an eye on our next cold front. Not the front immediately to our north, but the cold front across Canada. That's the one that will head our way on Friday to ensure that we start the weekend off on a cool note. Before it gets here, though, a little energy from this upper low across California and the Baja Peninsula. A little bit of energy from that wants to head our way and maybe give us a random shower or two by the time we talk about late Wednesday and early Thursday. So let's see if we can time that out with the future track. Again, we're looking okay for the rest of the night, but with mostly clear skies and the south breeze trying to bring in a little more moisture, I wouldn't be surprised as lows drop off into the upper 20s. We get a little bit of patchy fog. If we see it, it shouldn't be thick and it shouldn't be widespread. So I don't think we'll have any big issues for the morning drive back to work and school tomorrow. And even with clouds increasing throughout the day tomorrow, I think we can do a bit better as far as temperatures go. If my planner can ever pop up, there we go. 28 to start, 46 by noon. I see us hitting 52 degrees for the afternoon ahead of us. So I think we can do that with a good southwest wind during the afternoon at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Now, late Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, that wave passing to our south, I think it passes just close enough to maybe graze our southern counties with a random shower or two. That is about it as this feature passes on by. So we'll start cold Thursday, and we'll go head back into the mid-50s on Thursday afternoon. Then it's all about these systems out west as we head through the next several days. So it doesn't want to budge anywhere for Friday, at least this low coming out of the northwest into California. Once it starts to head our way by Sunday, that's when we'll start to see better rain chances work back in. And now we're starting to see some colder air really try to force its way in as we head toward Monday and Tuesday. If temperatures can hit 42 and drop throughout the day Monday and stay cold through Tuesday morning, we may have a mix of rain, ice, and snow that we have to keep a close eye on. But no ice worries or wintry weather concerns for the next few days, Jordan. 52 tomorrow, 54 Thursday.
Yeah, definitely going to enjoy the weather tomorrow and Thursday.
Absolutely.
Nick Kelly, thank you so much. Coming up in sports, Neosho Wrestling aims to stay unbeaten against Carthage, plus the Pitt State women aim to hand Nebraska Kearney its first loss. Going to hear from the team on Thursday's game next.
The defending state champion Neosho Wildcats are 9-0 to start the wrestling season. Now, tonight is homecoming night for the Wildcats, hosting the Carthage Tigers. Now, Carthage comes into the night with a 15-4 dual record. A bunch of good matches tonight. This one, really good. 120 pounds, Neosho's Landon Kivett down 10-9 in the third period. Check it out. Boom! Gets the takedown for two. Kivett takes an 11-10 decision. At 138 pounds here, Carthage gets an exciting finish. It's the loudest one of the night. Eli Sneed down 4-3 in literally the final seconds of the third. He gets the takedown right before the buzzer. Sneed takes a 5-4 decision with that. Neosho, though, does go on to close this thing out. 160 pounds, Trent Neese wins by fall in about 5 minutes over Gray Pettigrew. 170 pounds, Dude's one of the best I've seen. 3-time state champ Caden Auk wins by fall early in the second period. Neosho now 10-0. Wildcats over the Tigers tonight 57-10. Tonight is night one of the boys bracket at the Southeast Lancer Classic. Now in the first round this evening, we have a couple of teams out of Joplin squaring off. Macaulay Catholic on the floor this evening against College Heights. College Heights opens the game hot. Miller long from deep. He had a game-high 30. Cougars up 3 early. Later on in the quarter, pass to Curtis Davenport. He knocks down the 3. College Heights up 4. End of the first here, Long with the steal. Check it out. Gets up for the two-handed jam. Cougars up 17-8. Macaulay trying to answer on the other end with a 3 here. Warriors, though, down 13 at halftime. Moving on to the third quarter now, Daniel Wagner. Layup through traffic. Warriors still down double digits. College Heights able to hold off Macaulay tonight, 66-53. The Pittsburgh State women are on a roll right now, winning 7 straight games. And with 2 big games coming up this week, it's a perfect time for the Gorillas to be playing their best. The Pittsburgh State women's basketball team is one of the hottest in the MIAA right now, posting 7 straight wins.
Winning is fun, and when we were losing, it wasn't too fun, but we came and put it all together. The biggest key is our defense. For now, in the last few games, we went with a more defensive approach, and we actually have had defense, and so I think they're really all in all, like, if we can just keep that up, we should be fine.
The Gorillas are hot at the right time, with the undefeated Nebraska Kearney Lopers coming to town on Thursday.
They're good, yeah, but I mean, we are too, so we're very, very excited for this matchup.
They're holding teams to less than 60 points the last couple games, 39 or 35 and 34. We're going to have to be really sharp offensively, and then we're going to have to continue to put together some defense that we can get some stops.
We've been up there and ended up winning the past 2 years, so I know that they're hungry for one, but I mean, I feel like we're hungrier.
Pitt State is getting a boost from junior guard Tristan Gegg. Gegg is 5th in the MIAA in scoring and scored 24 against Washburn Saturday, including 8 in overtime.
The Washburn game in particular, points were hard to come by. To have Tristan step up in those moments, in those defining moments when we need her, that's what you want your players to do.
I would say I'm pretty confident. I think our whole team is, to be honest, but I just know that Coach David believes in me, my teammates believe in me, and when you are confident, it shows, and just getting in the gym more, what I've been doing, so it's helped a lot.
Junior forward Julia Johnson has also come on strong, averaging 12 points and 7 boards the last 4 games.
Way more comfortable. I have a lot more confidence, and it's fun. Once I gained this confidence, I'm having fun with the game, and I'm just playing and helping my team. Just the process has paid off for her, and then she's made some really big plays to help her confidence here lately, and she's in the gym a lot. She's a self-made player.
While they hope to make it 8 straight on Thursday, the Gorillas have found their groove and found out what they can be.
I think our glue is really good right now, and I think that's something we didn't have before, and that takes a lot of kids playing different roles that maybe they didn't realize that was going to be their role, but as we've started to win, it's been a lot more fun, and people are accepting different roles and stepping up at different times.
Pittsburgh State plays Nebraska Kearney on Thursday night before turning around and hosting Fort Hays State on Saturday afternoon. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
As President-elect Joe Biden prepares to take office, the women by his side are also getting ready to take charge. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez has more on how Vice President-elect Kamala Harris and Dr. Jill Biden plan on shaking up Capitol Hill.
The White House is about to undergo a huge makeover. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris and soon-to-be First Lady Jill Biden are set to accomplish many firsts as they prepare for their very active roles in the Biden administration.
I will walk there to that moment proudly with my head up and my shoulder back.
Kamala Harris will make history Wednesday as the first female Black and South Asian vice president.
We're ready to do the work, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Harris's chief spokeswoman says you can expect her to be at the forefront of Joe Biden's policy decisions, saying, quote, "She is at the table for everything, involved in everything, and giving input and feedback and being a supportive partner to him on all pieces."
I'm grateful and excited and most of all ready to get to work with all of you.
And Jill Biden is also making White House history. She will continue working as an English professor, becoming the first Lady to keep her day job. But Dr. Biden isn't skipping a beat when it comes to her commitments to the nation, announcing she's relaunching Joining Forces, a program benefiting military families she started with Michelle Obama back in 2011.
We're going to build on what we learned during the Obama-Biden administration. We'll continue to listen and work with you.
The Trumps may also have a few firsts of their own. President Trump is expected not to continue the decades-long tradition of leaving a note for the incoming commander-in-chief, and Melania is expected to not give a tour of the White House residential areas to the new First Lady. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Matt Damon may be returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Hollywood Nation coming your way. TV's finest to be honored, a TikTok star getting a special invite. We got more news for you. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has the latest in the Hollywood Nation.
Dream skateboarder scores, Damon joins Thor, and Critics' Choice make an announcement in the Hollywood Nation.
We're committed.
The TV nominees for the 26th Annual Critics' Choice Awards have been announced. Netflix's Ozark and The Crown lead the pack with 6 nominations each. Lovecraft Country, Mrs. America, Schitt's Creek, and What We Do in the Shadows each picked up 5 nods. Film nominees and the ceremony's format will be revealed on February 8th. The winners will be announced March 7th on the CW, with Taye Diggs returning to host the event for a 3rd time. Matt Damon may be returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. According to Australia's News.com, the actor has joined the cast of the upcoming film Thor: Love and Thunder. Details regarding his role have yet to be revealed, but Damon did have a brief cameo in Thor Ragnarok, playing an Asgardian actor who portrays Loki in a stage play. The 4th Thor film is currently in production in Sydney, Australia. And TikTok star Nathan Dogface Apodaca is bringing his good vibes to Joe Biden's celebration in becoming President of the United States. According to TMZ, the Idaho native has accepted an invitation to be among the number of guests featured in Biden's virtual inauguration parade this week. The 37-year-old has reportedly already recorded a video for the event from his home in Idaho Falls. Dogface became a social media sensation last fall after posting a video of himself skateboarding to the song Dreams by Fleetwood Mac while drinking from a bottle of cranberry juice. Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with Switzerland vineyards covered in snow. Beautiful. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.